Hi everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, I had a really fun time the other day perusing the aisles of my little dollar spot at Target, and I found some really fun things, and I thought I would just have some fun with my Cricut and inspire you with some fun blanks that you can find at Target, and I really like to check out them every once in a while. Every time I go to Target, I like to check them out, and I always find some really fun things that are inspiring to create. So the first thing that I found is this cute little lap desk. It also comes with a little pillow that is labeled removable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just take off the label really quickly. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Target dollar spot, it's also called the Bullseye Playground. It's really fun, but it does have items that are $1, $3, and $5. And you can always find some really fun things there. Now, this one was actually $5. I'll go ahead and take the little tag off the back as well. But I love this. I love cuddling up on my couch and doing work that way as well. And I thought this was a really fun idea. This is also great for kiddos too who want to color. So I'm looking at the back and it looks like we have a little Velcro attachment here that can remove that little pillow from the back. And actually this would be a really easy piece to DIY yourself if you had a really nice wood board. Just apply some Velcro and then put a little pillow as a backer. So if you want to make your own too and you're not near a Target or you don't have a Target, then this is a great item that you can get inspired with to DIY. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side for just a moment because I want to go ahead and weed out the little SVG that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take my weeding tool. I will, as always, place links to everything that I'm using down in the description box below. Now, it is hard to link items from the Target dollar spot. If I happen to be able to locate them online, I will link them, but if you don't see them, I just couldn't locate them. Sometimes they have stuff that are just available in stores and it's hard to find online. But down below you will also see links to the SVGs or designs that I'm using, as well as all the other materials that I'm using to bring these little projects together. So this little SVG says, "Let's get comfy cozy," and that is just a perfect little sentiment for the top of this little board. I think that's so fun. And usually when I am sitting on the couch with my laptop or a notebook, I am putting a fun show on, and it's because I just need to get cozy and either plan or get creative. And I loved that this sentiment could kind of aid in that whole idea. Okay, making sure I have all of my little middles here. It looks like I have a little middle to my E that I forgot, and also S. It's kind of hard with the little script fonts because some of the middles aren't quite as obvious, but get that out there. Okay, the Y, the O once more, and finally the Y. All right, now that that is all weeded, what I'm going to do is grab a piece of transfer tape that I have trimmed to size, and I am just going to pull out about an inch or two and expose just a little bit of that stickiness by removing a little bit of the backer. And I'm not going to remove all of it at once because sometimes that can be a little overwhelming when placing transfer tape over a longer or bigger design. And then I'm just going to pull that backer, releasing the transfer tape right onto my design, and I'm ready to go. I'm just going to burnish this down with my scraper, and we'll be ready to put this little fun quote, or saying if you will, right on our board. Let me know if you like to browse through the Target dollar spot. It's one of my favorites. I usually start there just because of its location. It's usually right near the front door. Usually start there and end up getting lost in there for a little bit. Okay, I also like to burnish down the back side, and we should be all set. All right, with that still face down, I'm going to peel off the cutting sheet, just like that. And now we have our vinyl piece right on our transfer tape. Okay, let's go ahead, bring our design in here. My idea is for it to span the bottom. I really like that. And I'm just going to center that the best that I can and align it. Maybe bring it over just a hair. And that looks good. Okay, I'm going to just kind of get that into position with my fingers there, and then I'll grab my scraper tool one more time and really burnish that into place, making sure there's no bubbles in my vinyl, but also making sure really press down. Okay, I think that is good. Grab a little piece of my transfer tape, slowly peel it up and make sure everything stays down. Oh, that looks really nice. And there we go. Doesn't that look sweet? I love that. I think that is so simple, so fun. I love that it spans the bottom. I think that's just so sweet. And I think it's just a fun way to decorate a little piece that can give you a little bit of cozy time while you are fast at work. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to another fun item that I found in the Target dollar spot. Okay, another fun thing that I found in the dollar spot was this potted plant. This was $5 and I was instantly drawn to it because of the color of the pot. I thought it was so neat and so masculine, and so I wanted to do something for my husband's desk. I thought this would be really nice. Now this is a faux plant, so you could do this same idea with a real plant, but you could do the same idea that I'm doing with a pot where you plant your own plant in. But you know what? A faux plant here and there really makes me happy, because my goodness, I have been doing really good with the one plant that I do have in my house. I got it 3 years ago as a gift, and I'm not good with plants, but this little guy, I actually have given it a birthday, and this little guy that I have is 3 years old. I've been doing amazing with it, and I just don't want to, I don't know, one is enough for me right now, although one of my best friends is helping me expand my plant collection, because I feel like I'm kind of getting my green thumb now that I've made it a few years with my first plant. Okay, so now what I did was just applied a little bit of rubbing alcohol to the surface of my little pot here, and that is just to remove any dust or oils from the surface. That way it is ready and all prepped for my vinyl to go down. Okay, while that is setting, I'm going to go ahead and grab my design. Now, I did cut this out of a smart vinyl. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the smart vinyl. I find that it's really hard to work with, but I was out of white vinyl because I used white vinyl in a couple of the other projects that I had this evening. So instead of running to the store, I'm trying to use what I have, and the only thing I had left was smart vinyl. So in an effort to finally use it up, I'm going to go ahead and do my best to use every little piece of it before I buy some more. Okay, so I'm weeding this out. It's a little hard to see because this is white on white, unlike the other vinyl that I prefer, but you could also keep this. This would be super fun to do a little design with. But what I did was I went into Design Space. I took my little measurements. Oops, let me get this off here. I took my measurements for the width and height of my pot. So I measured from top to bottom, and then I measured all the way around. That way I could create a little template. And I had it all ready to show you in Design Space, and then Cricut did an update today and it shut down my project and deleted everything. So I didn't want to remake it. But I just created a template, and then I found a cute little plus sign in just the free shapes, and I just arranged those accordingly on my little template. So this is representing the height and the width of my little plant pot here. And once you create your template, then you can just create your design within that area to create your wrap. All right, I hope that makes sense, and my sincere apologies that I couldn't show you that template, but well, you know, things happen, and technology sometimes is a stinker. So I'm gonna grab this transfer tape. Now this is different than the transfer tape that I just used on the previous project for my little lap desk. because I like to actually use the Cricut transfer tape for their smart materials, because their smart materials are, well, they're a little bit thicker because of the fact that they are considered matless cutting. So they're just a tad different. So I like to use a more durable transfer tape when I use that, because it tends to work a little bit better. And now I'm just going to trim this off a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I really want to focus on burnishing really well here. Make sure I can pull this design up. It's an easy product to weed. I find that I struggle when it's time to pull it up off of the cutting sheet. And I think it's just because the cutting sheet is so thick, so it's kind of hard to maneuver, but also the vinyl's a little bit thicker. So all in all, it just, for me, this is just for me, I find it to be a tad more difficult. So I usually go with my tried and true favorite vinyl. Okay, let's see though if I can manage to do this. So it's just about being patient. Ooh, okay, hold on, maybe I'm having my luck. Being patient. Oh, it's working tonight. Oh, hold on, I have one little piece here. And I thought this was just a fun little modern design that I could put on my little pot here. I like to, from time to time, steer clear of designs that just have wording on there and just do design. And so this is going to be a little dose of inspiration for how you can do that. Now, I just missed one. I just realized just too late, so no problem. Let me grab, I'm gonna grab some tweezers here. I'll pull that up, and I will just place that the best that I can, at least, right back on my transfer tape. And I'll do right there. Okay, try to get that as straight as possible. Okay, I think that's about good. All right, now this is all prepped and ready, so we're good to go. And I have positioned my little plant in this little cup cradle. I purchased this, I can't even remember. Ooh, we have faux dirt everywhere. Hold on. Probably a year or two ago, and it has been one of my favorite purchases because it works really good with coffee mugs and tumblers, ornaments around the holidays, but also unique items like this when you just want to study something, especially because if I just put it on my mat, it would kind of just roll around. I really want to keep it nice and steady. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my design and wrap it. Oops, hold on. I feel like it's getting a little off. There we go. I'm just gonna let that fall and wrap around. Oh my gosh, it did it. It did it so well. Okay, now I'm just gonna go through with my fingers and just kind of tack everything down. Faux dirt is kind of getting everywhere. I kind of thought the idea of a faux plant was to offer some cleanliness. Oops, I have one little bubble, but I can fix that separately. But now I'm just gonna go through with my scraper and do the same thing that I did last time and just really tack that down. Now I have one here that kind of got a little bubble in it, so I'm not gonna rub that down because I will kind of manually go and fix that in just a bit. So I don't want to ruin it with my scraper. But everything else is going to get just a really nice burnish. And I can already tell this is going to be super cute. I love that contrast too with the, it's not a navy, it's kind of a marine blue. I really like that. Or is it, I can't remember the name. I don't know, but it's beautiful. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and peel off our transfer tape and leave our vinyl on our mug, or not our mug, our pot here. And this is the one I need to remedy in just a moment. So I'm just gonna let that stick there. Get my surgery tools out. My husband and I are on season 900 of Grey's Anatomy, so I feel like I could be a surgeon any day now. Okay, and there we go. Now, if you see any pieces that were kind of peeling up or didn't quite get burnished down, you can just kind of tack them down with your finger, and then they will all kind of cure on that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I love how that turned out. That is so fun. Very cute. Okay, so here's an idea of what you could do with a actual pot if you wanted to put a real plant in, if you are a better plant mama than I am. But it's also an idea for how you can do a design without words, but instead focus on a pattern and just really bring a new look to a piece. I love how that looks. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and move on to our third idea. I found such cute things at the little dollar spot, so I can't wait to inspire you some more. All right, the next thing I found in the little dollar spot, this was, let's see, $5 again. This is a really fun, beautiful pillow. Look at this. I'm really attracted to this nice mustard color, and I love a bumblebee, so I instantly grabbed this. I'm gonna pair it with a really nice navy iron-on, but I thought it'd be fun to place a little iron-on design right onto the front of this pillow. So before I weed out my design, I'm gonna take off the little tag, but I'm also going to, let me set this to the side. I want to bring in my Easy Press, and I am going to turn this on. Oh, it's actually already set where I need it. I'm going to have it be at 340 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds. This is a nice kind of orange color while it's preheating, and it will chime and also turn a green color once it has reached the desired temperature. So it looks like I needed the same time and temp the last time I used this, so it's already set and ready to go for me. But let's go ahead. Again, I'm trying to use up all of my material in my craft room, and I chose to use a Smart Iron-On, which I actually don't mind their Smart Iron-On. I don't mind it at all. It's pretty nice. I like it more than the Smart Adhesive Vinyl, but I used the Smart Iron-On because I didn't have navy in just a regular iron-on or HTV. So I'm in that mode of use what you have, try to dwindle down the craft supplies a little bit. Last year I went on a journey of shopping my own craft room. Many of you know that. And I was actually talking to my husband today because I was telling him how much product I was out of, and he was super proud of me because he said, that means you're doing such a good job at your challenge, which he's so right. Okay, so this looks backwards right now because when using iron-on, you need to make sure that you mirror your image in Design Space because you cut your image upside down. And if that's confusing to you, I just did a really good video all about creating shirts with iron-on for our summer challenge. And I think that was week 2, so I'll link to that video. But then when you turn it over, and this is the way you're going to put it on your project, whether that's a shirt or a tote bag or a pillow like I'm doing today, then it's going to be facing in the right direction. So I'll also link to this beautiful SVG. It did actually have a design around it. It was like a square design, but I just wanted the wording because I thought the wording was just beautiful. And I adore a mustard and navy combo. I think that is just so classy looking. All right, while I'm waiting for my Easy Press to reach my desired temperature, I'm just going to take a lint roller and just make sure that I remove any lint or fuzz that may be on the surface of my pillow. I just want everything to be nice and ready to go so I don't have any barriers between my iron-on and my pillow. And there's the chimes, so that's perfect timing. All ready to go. And now you'll see that my Easy Press, whoops, is now green here, and it's ready to press. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about a heat mat underneath because my pillow is so thick that it kind of is acting as its own heat mat. But I'm going to center this where I'd like it. And let's make sure I weeded out everything. I think that looks good. Okay. Now this backer is sticky, but if you need to further tack it down, you know, so it doesn't roll up like this, that's not particularly going to bother me because I'm just going to lay the press right over it. But if you wanted to just secure it in place, make sure you use a heat resistant tape. In fact, why don't I just bring that out so that you can see? Okay, this is a heat resistant tape, and you want to make sure that you do use a heat safe tape because you don't want to risk ruining your project or your, whoopsie, I don't even know if it's going to help in this situation, your project or your press. So you want to make sure you don't use a regular tape. This actually might be kind of hard to tape onto, but maybe I'll just tape that side. And once I get it tacked down, it should be fine. Okay, I like the placement, so I'm going to go for it. Now I'm going to do it in, I think I'm going to do it in a couple sections. And we'll just do that side first. So I'm going to bring this over, and I am going to press this down on half of my design. I'm going to click the Cricut button to start the countdown, and I'm going to use firm pressure. Okay, I'm going to try to keep my design nice and straight on this side too. And using firm pressure while it heats up that first side and irons it onto the pillow. And then once it has reached 0, I'll go ahead and just shift it over to the other side. Okay, there we go. Oh, that looks good. I can already see I might need to press it a little bit again, but I'm going to go over to this side and press and just give it some good pressure there. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I know that my tea didn't quite get all the way down there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my iron on cool just a little bit before I apply more heat, and then I'm going to give it just a little bit of additional heat there and get those little problem areas really placed down nice there. Okay, so I'll just repeat those steps, pressing each side with some really firm pressure. All right, I am going to set this project to the side. Let's see if I can actually turn it over. It does want a cool peel, and I really want that to cool down before I peel that up. And because I have some more projects to work on, oh, that actually cooled down fairly well. Let me see if I can peel up my liner. There we go. And I love this Smart Iron-On because it has a really nice matte. Oops, we have a little problem with our H there. Let's see how everything else is doing. Might have to give it some additional heat, but it's doing really well. Okay, I have just a problem with this H. Okay, so, wow, that did really good. I'm going to add some more heat to that side, but I love the, whoops, wrong one. I love the Smart Iron-On because it has this matte look to it. It's not shiny. It just looks really classy. I love that. And sometimes you really just have to be patient when doing a project like this that is not traditionally flat. You just have to be patient, let your iron-on cool down a little bit between your presses. That way you don't overheat it or anything. But if you're patient and you just focus on those problem areas, you should be just fine. Okay. Okay, I'm peeling off the rest, and my little H decided to totally curl up. Look at that. And it's just not, it's not fixable. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give up. Everything else is good. It just kind of rolled in on itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go cut out that H one more time, and I'm just going to place it right on here and fix that because it's 98% done. I'm not going to give up just because of one little letter. So let's go ahead, see how it just kind of kind of rolled into itself. Got stuck on here and it's donezo. Okay, so I have just a tad bit of iron-on here. I'm gonna put it right on my mat. And even though this is a smart iron-on, you can do it matless. I just want to do one tiny little piece, so I just cut off a little piece. Let me go into Design Space and show you how I'm going to fix this without cutting out the entire design, but just cutting out a portion. So let's go fix this. Hopefully this helps you if you run into the same problem someday. Okay, so this was the original design that I used, and what I did was I just went over to the layers panel over here and I hid the items that I didn't want, which were the first leaf, the second leaf, and I'm just clicking the little eyeball here, and then the outline. So now I'm just left with the text. So what I'm gonna do is, I know that when I went and sized this, I had it, let's see, I think I had it at 9 inches, roughly, I think, and I'm hoping that this H ends up being the correct size and I can do some measuring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my design here and I am going to select the whole thing and I'm going to weld that together. Okay, and then once I click on it, I am able to come and contour it. The contour button is at the bottom of your layers panel, right at the bottom here. So I'm going to click on contour, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click on everything that I want to remove, and you can either do it over here or you can do it over in the layers panel, and whatever kind of shades out or, you know, doesn't highlight is going to be removed. I kind of personally feel it's easier to come over here and do that. So I'm going to remove everything. And the other thing you can do, I should have thought of this, is you can hide all contours, okay? And then you can bring back the H. Let's hide that, sweet. Okay, so I think we should be good. I think these little guys don't need to go. Or are they already? Okay, I think they might be good. So let's go back. Okay, I just have my H. Let me do a quick little measurement and just make sure that this little height and width does match what I have in front of me. I feel like it actually needs to be just a tad smaller. And I think that that is pretty darn close. So I'm gonna go over to Make It. And then what I will do is I will make sure that I mirror my image. Okay, that's that little toggle button right over here on the left. It mirrors my image because I'm working with iron-on. Click continue. And then what I'm going to do is select my material once it has connected to my Cricut. And then I will go ahead and select the material I'm using. In this case, I'm using Smart Iron-On. You can put it on a mat. You don't have to do matless cutting. And then I can go ahead and load my mat. Okay, so as a reminder, my iron-on is shiny side down on the mat, so that's why you mirror your image, and I'll go cut this out. Okay, now it's time to see if I actually measured close enough. I think I did, and if not, if it's imperfect, then it's better than no pillow at all, right? Okay, the heat press is reminding me that it's on, giving me a little warning. Okay, those are my scrap pieces. Let's weed this out. And let's do a little fixing. Okay, so bring this back in and place this right over. Perfect. It's perfect. You can see the outline there, can't you? From the adhesive on the other iron-on that literally fits perfectly. I'm proud of my measuring. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, because I have all this other exposed iron-on, I'm just gonna grab some butcher paper to cover the rest of the exposed iron-on, because you don't wanna expose your iron-on to your heat source. You wanna have a barrier between the two. And it does not need to be perfect, it just needs to protect. Okay, so now I'm just going to focus. I could bring out my little mini press here, but I'm going to focus my heat right on the little H. Okay. Ooh, it's looking good. Much better than last time. I'm going to let that cool for a second, add some additional heat, and I think it's going to be ready to go. All right. Now what I'm going to do is give this the grace of time. I'm going to turn this over and really let that cool. Sometimes if you peel too quickly, then that causes a problem with the iron-on not laying down. So make sure you're always reading the directions. And let's let that really cool. I'm just placing it upside down because then I want to come into contact with my cool surface, and it just makes it cool down quicker. Okay, now I can peel, and here we go, all fixed. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad, because as I was watching this come together, I was so excited to use this as decor. So I am so glad that I was able to fix that little boo-boo. Okay, there is another project done. We have 2 more. Let's go ahead and do something really easy. I feel like after this one, we need a good, easy craft. Okay, I found this little mini desktop waste bucket. This was also $5. Apparently, I was in just the $5 spending mood. My husband actually joked that that's just like me, to have more of the expensive taste at the dollar section, which is so true, right? Oh my goodness. But this is a cute little waste bin that you could use, and what I'm going to try to do, I feel like I've teetered with this idea a time or two, but I really feel like I can do it this time. I'm going to use this as a desktop trash can, and I feel like now that I have started working with paper so much more, that I'm definitely in need of a little waste basket that's right off my craft mat. So it kind of sits on an angle like this. Do you see? It's so nice. Has a little push button, and then there is a little area in there where you can put your little scraps and trash. Okay, so the first thing I want to do before I weed my design is take my rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to wipe down the surface once more. Okay. Make sure it's nice and clean and ready to receive the vinyl. Okay, then we can set that to the side and weed our little design here. I'll grab a little weeding tool. And I thought of a really fun, well, I found, but I thought it would be fun to do something a little crafty, obviously, because I'm going to be working towards using this in my craft room. Okay, and then the last couple little pieces. Isn't that cute? I thought this was really, really fun, and I like that it is going to, whoops, got all these little pieces. It's going to take that nice circular shape of that little lid, because I thought we would put it right on this little opening here. Okay, so that's all prepped and ready to go. Put that away, and let me grab some transfer tape. This is actually reused from a project that I just did. So I want to reuse this piece, burnish down the front and back, and I'm going to try not to trim this down because I feel like this is such a good size of transfer tape that if I can help it, I'd like to save it a couple more times at this size. You could always trim it down to size though if that is just too much, because sometimes it really is too much. Okay, so sure all of my little pieces are staying down. Okay, there we go. Bring this in here, and I'm just going to center that where I'd like it. Let's see. I think that's so cute. Kind of reminds me of the whole keep calm and carry on. I think it's just kind of fun. Okay, and press that down. And be careful because that's a little press button lid, so I don't want to disengage and have that pop open. It's got vinyl on me. Okay. There we go. Oh, there it goes. All right, come here. Now, let's peel off the transfer tape. And there is our cute little design. Isn't that fun? Just keep crafting. Oops, and I'm gonna put this right back on my sheet so I can reuse that transfer tape. Okay, I love this idea. I hope that I am able to do this. I feel like with my card making, this is going to be very nice to use, but I love how that is. And I like that it's just nice and compact, can sit right off to the side of my desk and my craft mat, and it'll work really nice. All right, wish me luck. Okay, the final little item that I found was, oh, looky there, $5, darn it. And this is a cute little metal tin. I say darn it because I ended up spending on the higher side at the Target dollar spot, but if you really think about it, $5 for this little tray is, I think, a good deal. So I'm just going to make sure I clean that out with my rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to do another design that is wordless on here because I'll tell you why when you see the design. The design that I actually chose is kind of like a family monogram design, but I actually decided not to add our little monogram in it, and you'll see why as this plays out. Okay, let me grab my weeding tool and start weeding this design out. I'll link this down below. It is a really cool design. In fact, I feel like I've used it before, maybe making a wood sign for our front door, I believe. It's a really fun one. And it's really easy to personalize. So if you wanted to make a gift for someone, or if you wanted to make your own little tray for someone, then this is a really great idea to do, but plus take it a step further with the personalization. Okay, let's make sure we got all of our pieces there. One more. Come on. And there we go. Okay. Oh, I could have actually trimmed out that middle part and saved that, but I totally forgot. That's okay. Sometimes you just forget. Oh, okay. Let's see here. This one wants to be a stinker. Lay down there. Okay, I'm going to go through and get all of the little middle pieces of my leaves out. And the middle is where you can add that middle initial for the family last name, which is really fun. It also had in this design some additional areas for personalization underneath it, so it would take on more of a rectangular look, which is really pretty as well. But this is a really good reminder that when you see designs that you like, sometimes you like them just as is, and sometimes for the project in front of you, it's better, you know, to edit them or make them work for how you want your project to look like. So I always do that with my designs. Sometimes like the pillow, I really liked the wording, but I didn't necessarily need the border around it. And then for this, I really liked the surrounding border that is this wreath, but for this project, I wanted to leave it hollow in the middle. Okay. Okay, so there is the design. I think I accidentally pulled up the little outline there of that circle. Let's see if I can find it on my little weeding sheet, because it would just be around the outside. Voila, it's right there. That way I can fix that really quickly. Okay, so let's take this off and place this right in its spot. Okay, there we go. So now what I want to do is I'm going to place some transfer tape over that. Okay, and that looks close enough. So let's bring our transfer tape up and off. Again, I'm just going to expose just a little bit there. I think it's not going to quite cover my entire design, but that doesn't bother me. As long as it gets most of it, for me, I am good to go. Okay. Just fell a little short up there, which is just fine. All right, let me burnish this down. A little bubble there, but I think we're gonna make it. Okay, burnish the front and the back. Okay, now, before I do anything, I am going to trim down my transfer tape close to my design, and let me show you why. It's because it gets really tricky to try to fit a design in here when it's so big, right? You're gonna be fighting with the walls of your project. So what I like to do is just trim it down as close to the design as I can. And I do this after my transfer tape is on because it just is easier. That's the most honest answer I can give about that. It's just simply easier. And then the transfer tape is all trimmed down as well. Okay, there we go. And let me check that. Much better. I feel like we're gonna do much better there. Okay, let's turn this over and remove that cutting sheet. Taking our time there. And again, in that middle part, you can do your family monogram, like the letter of your last name. And you can even do a little established date. That would be really cute. Now, the reason I didn't is because I kind of want to use this as a little decorative tray that I set things in, as in like a candle, and I kind of like these to be on our ottoman. I think they're really fun, so I usually put like a candle in there and like our remote for the TV. I think that's kind of fun too. And I like it being hollow in the middle because then it just is less busy. So sometimes even if I kind of think, in fact, I'll probably put this maybe in the kitchen with a candle and another little decorative piece. I think that would be so pretty. But then it's just not too busy. I like to have a little white space that my trinkets can go in, and then I don't feel bad about covering up part of the design. Okay, I'm just kind of going around and pressing around there. And then I can grab just my little weeding tool to grab, I gotta find one that's not, there we go, not so stuck down. I can peel out that transfer tape. And there is my design right on the middle. And I'll go ahead and save this transfer tape as well. That way I can reuse it because that's a nice big piece. And I think I might have thrown away the big backer, but I can probably just place my transfer tape right on this cutting sheet. And it's good to go. I'm gonna remove that bubble though. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll save that for later. All right. Here is my last little project. I love how that looks. I think that is so fun, so simple, and it really elevated this little tray. All right, well, I would call that a very successful little trip to that little Target dollar spot. I found some really fun things, and I really like how everything ended up turning out. My favorite by far was this little potted plant. I love the design. I think it's so fun, it's so simple, and I'm just really, really excited about how that turned out. I'm also really loving this pillow. I'm so happy that it ended up turning out the way that it did by just fixing that one little letter. I think that's so fun, so nice, and again, that matte iron-on is so, so pretty. This is also one of my favorite things, and I'm really crossing my fingers that I can discipline myself to actually use it and keep my workspace a little tidy as I am creating. But you know what? I'll let you know, because sometimes I just struggle with that, and I like to keep a little pile and then just clean up later, but we'll see how that works out. And then this little tray, this is so fun. I also think this would make a really fun gift. It would make a fun gift for kiddos too, especially if they love to color, but they also like to, you know, get cozy while they do so. I think that's really fun. This would also be really nice for traveling. So if you wanted to do a road trip and you have this in a car, that would be fun as well. And finally, this little metal tray. I think that is so fun, so simple. Again, I gave you some little ideas for how you could take this design a little bit further if you wanted to add something to the middle, but I really like how simple that is. Sometimes it's just nice to see how just a simple design can really elevate a little project without having to be too busy. Okay, everyone, I hope that this was helpful. I really had fun. I love going and seeing what they have in that little dollar section, even though I ended up spending a little bit more than that. But each of these items to me was definitely worth the $5 that they each cost. Okay, everyone, I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed. If you are just visiting for the first time, be sure to subscribe and let me know which of these projects ended up being your favorite. All right, I'll see you in the next video.